Call to order, Muncie Parks and Recreation Board meeting, Tuesday, April 15th. If we'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry for the brief delay getting started tonight. Roll call, please.
Chandra Park. James Letton.
Present.
Mark Irvin.
Present.
Shannon Powers.
Present.
Brad Marshall.
Here. Chandra did let me know she had a family commitment she had to attend to this evening, so she regretfully was not able to attend. Next on the agenda, we've got the approval of the minutes from the March meeting. If there's any discussion or revision, otherwise I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Superintendent report with Mr. Carl Malone.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
All righty. Start out with our parks. The last couple weeks, everybody knows we've had that storm come through. So our park staff been busy clearing and cutting up trees and throwing away debris and things of that nature, which has kept us pretty busy. We still have a couple trees down. We had 2 down actually at McCullum. So we just got some continue cutting up and get those hauled away. So that's been the main thing that the staff has been busy with. I also had a meeting with the other youth program that's in the city, TeamWorks, and it was really just a general meeting and talked about our programs, what we do, kind of talked about their program and how many kids they serve, how many kids we serve, and then talked about having some ongoing conversations in the future to meet the needs of the kids in summer help, summer employment. So it's pretty positive. It's okay. On to Parks Department. Our hiring process is ongoing with our city HR staff. We're currently down 3 employees, and we got 1 going out on sick leave with some major medical concerns going on. He won't be back sometime late summer, around July. And so we're having to really get some people in through the portal. Hopefully we can get everybody. Our seasonal staff, we usually hire right around May, 1st of May, to about September, about Labor Day weekend. So we'll look at that and see what we can come up with as far as hiring goes. Moving on to Riverside Park, pickleball nets have been installed. Still don't have any update on the installation of the restroom there at Riverview. Splash pads are in our pre-startup. Will be starting up just as soon as the weather allows us to get in there and do the work that we need to do to get the water turned on and have some tests ran. But that's due to get started sometime next week. Thomas Park, same thing on the splash pad. We did receive our motor for our splash pad. It is in, so staff will be installing that and then having some tests run there also to make sure we have water to the pad. Jay Bird and those guys were out, which is who we use a lot for some of our plumbing work within our parks, and they were able to come out and get that water line, the main water line from the street running into our park. So we'll soon turn the water on and see how that goes. What else? I think that's it for Thomas as well. Tui, we started doing some replacing of the roof, that old roof there at the old bathhouse. Community development has been the financial contributor to having that done. Hopefully we can get some other work going on with that building as well, but that's being done by community development. We appreciate all they do to get that building up to par. Our guys are just down doing some work inside, installing the water fountains, doing some work inside to the shower area, shower heads. They were there today doing a little bit of work as well. Then we just got some minor cleaning of the pool itself, and we should be able to have it ready to go when we meet up with Bud and Bond, which will be here May 6th to do our pre-startup. They're at Tui's, barring any leaks or any repairs that we may have. I don't foresee that, but we should be ready to go when they arrive on May 6th. And then West Side softball field is being worked on. Restrooms, sewer line was a problem last year. The concern there is that as the park get full with visitors, people running over to the restroom doing the flushing, the skate park opening up, that's going to bring a lot of people to that area. And last year we had to change out some pieces of that line. Don't know if it's going to hold up, but we do have, Jay Bird has also gave a quote to have that repaired. So it's a major job from the main sewer feeding into the restroom building itself. We've made some minor repairs and replaced some parts of it, but overall, it's going to have to just have an overall fix. So, and then this skate park opening dates is to be announced. We still waiting. Work is being done though. They're moving right along. I think they got some people in the audience that come up and speak a little bit later to that, and talk a little bit about what they foresee with their committee as well. Playground areas are kind of low in mulch, so we're going to be getting a truckload of mulch in from our provider that would allow us to go around to some of the other parks and do the same. And then what else we got? I think that's all I have. Anybody's got any questions, I'll be glad to entertain.
The restrooms at Riverview,
Yeah.
what is the holdup there?
Well, the last conversation that I had was with Flatland, and from my understanding from the conversation that I got from Dave, that they were waiting on the city engineer to bid that project out. My understanding was at that time, though, that it had already been bidded out.
I thought Pride Mark already bid that.
That's what I was under the same impression. So I went to the White Neighborhood Association meeting and gave an update that was the case, and I was looking forward to coming back and saying a timeline when we can get started. If we know we're going to do some of the work as far as the plumbing, and Jay Burrs is standing there waiting for us to go ahead and get started. If we know what they want us to do, then we can go ahead and at least get the lines and stuff plumbed in and ready to go. So, but that's what I know. Wish I had more information for you, but that's all I know.
Any other questions for Carl?
All right.
You mentioned the splash pads. I assume those are targeted to be open Memorial Day at the latest.
Yes. Yeah, they'll all be up and going. Thomas, we just had to order the parts for that, and those parts are in. And so we'll go, as we start one splash pad, we'll go around to all the ones we have in the city, Halterman, Cooley. The restrooms probably will not be open at Cooley unless the neighborhood association wants to put some money in to make those repairs. I don't know how that's going to work with the changing stations for the kids and the babies at Cooley Park. That's a concern. So you got to have water. I mean, they got to be somewhere to. I mean, getting in the car going home is the only other option that they have. But we try to open them up, and they just destroy and damage. So neighborhood associations there, if they want to use some ARP money to replace, maybe that's an option.
Yeah, I think everybody here on the board is aware. The bathroom down there was open less than a week, and there was malicious vandalism to the toilet and the bathroom facility. So that's been locked. Porta pots have been put up for use, temporary use. I talked to Carl. We're not comfortable putting the same situation back in, so we're gonna have to look at something that's more industrial, that's gonna be more robust, and what that's gonna cost and how we protect our assets down there from being damaged.
Maybe we need to just think about starting to go to porta pots, period. I mean, I hate to say that, but if they're gonna keep getting tore up, that's just throwing money away.
I think this is at least have we had it 3 years now? We've had damage down there?
Yep.
I was gonna say, I know at least the last 2 years we've had
Yeah, just ongoing.
vandalism. So.
A little frustrating, because we got the splash pads, and, you know, we invested in the money that we invested in those, and the purpose of having the bathrooms redone was so that they could utilize the splash pad and come in with the small babies and have a changing room to take care of the services there for the small kids, so.
Well, I know we're continuing to work through that. I know we've got some proposals in for potential security options and some additional camera sources there. I think that's something we need to continue to work on. I know it's cliche, but charge the community too. See something, say something. I mean,
Right.
call it out, report it to us or the police, and try to get these issues resolved. It's not only at that park. We're seeing it at other parks, but this is the first one I think we've seen this year so far.
Correct.
All right. Anything else for Carl? Thank you, Carl.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we've got the programming updates and event approvals with Ms. Nikki Erickson.
Good evening.
Hi.
So for the Muncie Teen Internship Program, we have finished doing all the interviews. We did that from March 24th through April 4th, and we will be notifying all of the youth who are being accepted into the program via email. I would say probably no later than Monday. I had a little bit of a delay due to some family stuff. So I was out of the office for a few days, so we have narrowed it down. We're doing 110 of the youth that applied. We had 148. So they will all be receiving a welcome email from us that will have the attendance policy, the dress code, and information regarding opening their bank account with Thrive. And then for the youth who are selected to go to IU Health Fall Memorial and Second Harvest, they will be receiving separate documentation later on that needs to be completed by them and their parents. But we do have, like I said, 110 youth that will be participating this summer. National Kids to the Park Day is May 17th. It's going to be at Cannon Commons. We have confirmed the bounce houses, the DJ, balloon animals by Bob's Balloons. Some games are going to be provided by D's Creations, and the face painter is going to be provided by Thrive Credit Union for us. So we are inviting the community and the board out. It is going to be from 12 to 4 on May 17th down at Cannon Commons. The NFL flag football program has a few spots left. So if you have a youth between kindergarten through 6th grade, you can still sign them up until Friday. They will be having their parents' meeting on May 7th over at Heacon Park, and then their season will begin on May 14th. We are going to be meeting in the next couple days to try and finalize up some summer sports programming if we can get all of the things aligned properly. So hopefully by the time we meet next month, we will have a definite program listing and we'll be able to have registration and everything in place. I do have a couple of events that need approval from the board. The first two, you guys have already kind of seen Muncie Black Expo. You guys already approved it, but they have a change of date to not conflict with another Black Expo that's going on. So they want to move it from July 17th through 20th to July 31st through August 2nd. We don't have anything else on the calendar. So I just wanted to bring that for approval because of the date change.
No change of scope of the event or vendors or
No, it's just a
requirements?
change in the date.
3 days. Okay.
Any additional questions? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve date change.
Motion to approve date change?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you.
Thank you. The second one is for Everlasting Superator Inc. That was with Zion Strong. He came last month to discuss his basketball tournament. So he did come into the office to pick a date. He filled out the event request form. So he is looking for McCullough Park, June 20th through June 22nd for his 5-on-5 basketball tournament. He is expecting 70 to 100 people. Security will be provided. As of the date he came in, Muncie PD and Legacy. They are expecting food vendors, so they will have to go and get their certification with the Department of Health. And they will have some small business vendors as well. The only thing they are requesting from us is 2 sets of bleachers. And that would be June 20th through June 22nd at the basketball court at McCullough Park.
Those dates are currently open?
Yes,
And he's only looking for that one weekend at this time, I know.
at this time, yes.
Okay. I know he was talking about trying to extend the program or
Yeah,
other.
June is very, is a tough month to have events because pretty much everyone else has taken all the weekends, pretty much by January.
Yeah.
So, right now, they're just gonna do the one weekend and then they were looking to see about possibly doing a few in July and August, but they wanted to get this one, presented to the board first and then go from there.
Excellent.
And I can't remember, did Mr. Strong say they have insurance?
Yes, he did say that they had insurance.
Any other questions? Like I said, we discussed this pretty well
Yep.
last week. He was
Sounds
here
good.
representing that. If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you. The next event is the Halton Village Neighborhood Association. They would like to have a neighborhood park party to promote community and to engage the residents in outdoor activities. So they are looking for Saturday, June 21st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Well, no, hold on. The event would be from 11 to 3, but they would want the area from 8 to 5 so that they could take care of setup and tear down. And their rain date that they have listed would be Sunday, June 22nd. They are expecting about 100 people. They expect to have, they're going to engage with Muncie PD, who provided security in the past for their events. They do not, at this time, they did not have food vendors, but they do expect to have some. They are putting out an open invitation to seeking vendors, not just food trucks, but other local organizations, nonprofits, social service organizations, and small business owners. They're going to have live music and inflatables. And they said they can provide more information after, if the board approves the event. What they are requesting from the Parks Department would be 4 extra trash toters, 2 porta pots, and to have the restroom stocked for use.
Stopped?
Stop. So just
Stopped.
toilet paper, paper towels,
Okay, I
make
think
sure it's clean.
stopped.
I'm sorry.
Like, now, are they renting these porta potties and trash toters? Or is this something we're supposed to pay for? Like the porta potties,
That
who's,
be up to you guys.
I think in the
Yeah.
past, we've provided them, but that can be a discussion certainly. I know that, that neighborhood has, had several fundraiser investments in that park. I think that's where they've asked in the past, to waive that fee. I don't have the price sheet in front of me to know what that cost is or what that.
It's $45 per porta pot per day.
and,
And if we do a weekend event, it's basically 3 days that we get charged for.
yeah,
Didn't they pay for the porta pots for the last event? The tournament, or wasn't it a pickleball tournament? And it was like an event in the park like this?
I don't remember. I'd have to go
I
back to the
believe
minutes.
so. I believe we covered it.
We've sponsored those before.
I would like to ask that they pay for it. And not the Parks Department. What, they want 4 potties and then 4 trash toters, and what else?
No, they want two
Two
porta pots.
Oh, 2 porta
Mhm.
pots.
And we have extra trash toters, so
Okay, right.
we can drop off 4 of them.
And what were the other, was there something else? Or is that it?
Just to
No,
make
just to make sure that the bathroom.
bathroom was
Okay.
ready.
I was just asking Carl, because we have a few porta pots as well, so we can probably make those available. The only thing we have to do is get them cleaned.
So there wouldn't be, in that case, there would only be the transport cost for the porta pots.
Yeah.
So traditionally, the rental cost is associated if we got to rent them out from outside sources, or is it?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's a pass-through fee.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I think probably we need to, with every event, we need to make a request for a waiver be publicly presented, and then we need to look at it in terms of our regulations. I don't want us to slip back to where we're doing
Favors.
either way just
Yeah.
because we always have. I think we need to revisit the policy and for every event. If there's a request for a waiver, otherwise the expectation is that it would be
On us.
for pay because that's what the policies were.
Did they submit a waiver or any details? And
No.
okay.
So if we provide ours, then it would just be the $45 to have the porta pots cleaned instead of $90 a day for
The
3 days.
Weekend, right.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be that $145.
The HOA is not a nonprofit, correct?
They are
Has a
not.
different-
They are not an HOA. They are a
Okay.
nonprofit,
They are a nonprofit.
Yes.
Okay,
and they've, like I said, they've had several fundraisers.
right.
And bought equipment and pitched in for the 3rd pickleball court as well out there.
No, I'm not, you know, I just would prefer that they paid for what they want to, for us to deliver and provide for them, and then pick up and clean. I don't think that should be on the parks budget, personally.
I would like to see the cleaning fees covered.
Any other discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve with the clarification that the neighborhood association will be paying for the cleaning fees associated with the porta pots.
Is this the stipulation, though, that these are the pots that we own? not
Yeah.
that we have to rent.
Correct.
The
Are those-
Ones that we own,
And they're available that weekend?
yes.
Or are you using them for the Everlasting Super Ink? Are those going to be used for the basketball?
No, we have enough.
Okay. Because I know that was something the Parks was kind of partnering with.
Well, the basketball tournament is not asking for porta potts. They're only asking for bleachers.
Okay, got it.
Because the bathroom at McCullough is open.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Just before we make that motion, Nikki, has anybody else actually used the cabin that weekend? We ran into a problem. That same weekend.
No, nobody had it rented.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody had it rented.
You have a motion, get a second.
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
And then the last event is from America's Hometown Band of Muncie. They are putting in their request for Westside Park for their annual concert dates, which they are looking for July 24th, August 14th, and August 21st to put on their free public concert at Westside Park. It will be in the evening. They are expecting about 150 people. They are not going to have any vendors. They are requesting 4 stage sections, and I did inform them that they will have to pay for the stage sections.
So I believe last year
Paid?
we discussed this and they paid for their stage.
Yep.
Now,
Okay.
they hadn't paid before then, but
Last year they did.
last year,
Thank you.
and they did provide a copy of their insurance.
Okay.
How did they handle security last year?
They've never had security at their events.
They said we've got
I
about
can let them know if you're requesting it and get the information from them.
what was their expected attendance? 150?
50.
150.
Thoughts or discussion?
I think that they should have security.
I would agree.
I think we're requiring everybody to do that now, so.
Yep. I think that's the standard now. Because they've got, was it 2 or 3 dates? Sorry.
3.
They have 3 dates.
Okay.
150 people is a lot.
It
Yeah.
is.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion with stipulation and amendment that security is required for that event and provided before the event dates.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
And let's see, last one came in today. JAR Community Church is requesting the Halteman splash pad area on May 31st from 1 to 3 for a free community event leading up to their kids camp. They are expecting about 50 or 60. Security will be provided by Tony Boze, retired police officer, and they provided his phone number. They won't have any vendors, but they will be giving away popsicles to the kids. They are not requesting anything from the Parks Department, just the space.
What church is it?
JAR Community Church.
Okay.
Any questions for that event?
What is the location?
Halteman?
Ultimate splash pad, right?
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you, Nikki.
you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Next on the agenda, we've got the Prairie Creek Report. Tawny is here today. Been busy out there.
Yes. Good evening, board.
Hi.
All right, so we are working on getting the docks in. It's been a slow process. We did get a boat. We got the boat, we had to get it running. It wasn't running, wasn't steering. So that slowed us down. We could have been working on the wooden piers, but they were all underwater. So even the metal that went to them, we couldn't do anything. So the floating were put off. We did have them come in and look at the damage. We have gotten replacements for the ones that were damaged under the warranty. But that slowed us down. So we're going to have some that are probably going to be in late because of that, because we couldn't do either one of them. It's still a little high. A lot of the areas we still can't get to with those wooden docks. One of our maintenance employees was hit by the tornado, lost half of his house, was out for a week, so that slowed us down. So definitely, it's gonna take a little while to get those in.
On the floating piers,
Mhm.
are they at least secured now? Because I was out there and checked my camper and there was one, looked like it was banging up against the wooden docks.
They're still, exactly where they've been for the last couple months. We just got our boat, I wanna say, in the last couple days.
So they're not incurring any more damage?
Some of them have been moved. The ones that are, the one that you're talking about is probably the one that is damaged that the parts are over at the garage to get replaced, I do believe.
How many docks will not be placed in time?
We don't know yet.
Probably depends on weather between now and then, right?
It does.
We got a lot of,
How many, where are we at? How many are put in versus how many?
I don't have that exact number. I just know all the guys have been out working pretty hard on it the last couple of days. Today it was the wind. They couldn't do anything with the floating ones because of the weight and the boat. And again, most of the wooden ones are still underwater.
How do we get those wooden ones out of water?
You have to wait for the water to go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
We
then,
had some pretty significant flooding out
Mm-hmm.
there.
yeah,
The bridge was shut down because the water was going over the bridge, and
yeah,
that's usually very, very low.
yeah.
But it came all the way up past the bridge. Shut down a lot of the roads in Selma. Yeah.
anything else for us, Tawny?
We've got extra security this year. We do have security at nighttime from 4 to 10, Tuesday through Saturday. Saturday is 2 to 10. I also have somebody that's coming out, I believe, 1 in the morning to 4 and 6 on the weekends, I believe. We had somebody else set up for the weekends in between those two shifts. That didn't work out, but we might have somebody that's going to cover a few of those. So we do have security at night now, and we have 2 instead of 1. So I think that's going to help this year. The lights, all those pools that I said were getting replaced for the lights that hadn't been fixed since like the 70s, they're all out there this week fixing all of those. So it's a lot better lit up. It looks pretty good. But yeah, they're putting all the Indiana, Michigan Power sent I can't remember. Kelly, do you know who they have out there working right now? They have somebody out there, but they've been fixing them all along 575, and they'll be doing that around the whole park.
You said that security will be Tuesday through Saturday, 4 to 10, and then what were the other hours? 1 to 4 a.m., 1 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Yep. And then on the weekends, it could go till 6.
a.m.
Yes. They do have the security phone. They've been having that on them every night. That's an improvement from last year.
Do you have security already out there?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've had it since the 1st, since
Okay.
April 1st.
Since move-in.
Yeah.
Speaking of move-in, go pretty well, no major issues or concerns, yet again, outside of the weather was not,
Mostly,
A little
yeah,
conducive.
the weather was a huge issue. We did do the lottery today.
Yeah.
All the campsites have been filled. Everybody who was drawn, I think we had to go into one alternate. But those are all filled. They have until next Friday to come in and pay and sign that lease. We told them if they needed like 2 or 3 extra days to let us know, we'd work with them. As of docs, we have gotten through calling half of them. There was 50, so I worked over at the office till about 5:20, calling people to let them know. We've probably went through about 5 of the alternates on that list, just through the half. Half of those people didn't answer, so I left a message, so we'll probably go through another, I'd probably say most of the alternates by the end. I have one ADA spot that still needs filled. That if we don't get that filled, that's an extra spot that's just not getting paid for. So, but I do think we'll be able to fill that. The other 2 that we had available, I was able to fill. So that brought 2 more spots available in the lottery.
Do you have more demand than supply?
It's hard to tell because some of the names in there are spouses. I think we're going to run through most of the names for the docs. I think we might need to look at doing something different than the lottery in the future. The reason the lottery is good the last couple of years is because we were transferring. So people didn't have the chance to really get in without knowing somebody. All those people who have been waiting, I had somebody say today they had been waiting for 15 years, so they didn't even watch the lottery. They had no idea they were drawn. So a lot of people have been waiting all this time are finally starting to get in. So we see the lottery list going down. I think there's still a demand for them. I think it just might need to be handled differently. A lot of people don't put their name in the lottery. They don't know how to do it. Some people, they give up. They can't find it, even if we walk them through it, and they just kind of say no. So now as campsites, we had 11 to start out with. We ended up with 12. As somebody had moved out, so we had 12 available, but we had 150 people on that list. So there's still a very high demand in the campground.
Okay.
Any other questions for Tawny?
Yeah, the security gates. What's the plan with those?
Security gates, I have, one of them is working, one is not. I have tried to reach out to the company through email a few times. I've also called. I cannot get a response for them to come and get those fixed. I think we're going to have to find somebody else who might have some knowledge to those specific ones and get them out there to fix it, because I'm not having any luck with the company that
Was
put
there
them
any
in.
warranty provided with these things at all? They have never worked.
I'm not really sure. They did work until they got hit. They got hit by, we believe, was a drunk driver.
They've never been operational for campers that I know of. I mean,
Yeah, we've been out there and we've seen them down.
because I've never, ever had to use a fob to go in.
Yeah, it was from 11 to 7. Yeah, and they were down when they got hit too. And then we got them fixed, and then they were hit again. So the one that's like leaning, it was hit. So. You're probably like me, you're just not out at 11.
So you're working on that, or working with Kelly and Carl
Yeah,
on?
we've tried, I've emailed them over and over, I've called. But I think we're gonna have to look into a different
Different
company
vendor
to
or
contact
supplier.
and see if they can come out and fix them, yeah.
Okay.
And
Any other
I-
questions for Tawny?
I do have a few events, but I also have the Catfish Pirates here today in AMVET's Post 12. They are doing an event, it's already been approved, but the event's starting to grow and they kind of want to introduce themselves and tell the public a little bit more about themselves because they want to see more people come out for the veterans in our community. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if after these events you would like to meet them. I've been working with Roger the last couple of months. We've worked with the fire department, and we have a fire truck that's going to be out there now, and then some military vehicles, kind of like a touch a truck, just to get the younger generation
Yeah.
and families out there, help raise some money for the community and the veterans.
Yeah.
They do anything that the veterans need, housing, medical bills, and it's definitely a need in our community. So
Absolutely.
they wanted to come and introduce themselves to you guys
Okay.
and let the public know what they do.
Yeah, let's go through the new event approvals you've got, and then we'll give them a few minutes to introduce themselves.
My first one is going to be August 9th. That's going to be 5:45, 5 a.m. to 4. It's the Fishers Amen National Tournament Trail, Indiana North Division. They're going to have less than 30 people, but they are asking for the parking area over at the boat launch, a little bit of that to do the weighing of the fish, and then probably a toter or two. And then just access that early in the morning.
They've hosted an event out there before, haven't they?
I can't remember on this specific one. I know most of them, but I'm not really sure about this one. They're out of Bern is the address that's on here. A little, about an hour north, I believe.
Yes.
And they're on the water,
They are, and then weighing on the side,
5:45 to,
4 p.m.
okay.
Any other questions regarding the August 9th Fishermen event? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Next one.
All right, the next one's the Old National Bank. They are going to have a picnic just for all their employees. This is going to be June 21st from 2 to 5. They have rented one of the shelters. Approximately 50 people. And that's going to be from noon to 5 p.m. They are aware to follow all health guidelines, and they have, I believe they've done this the last 2 years, at least last year.
They've got vendors associated with that as well, don't they?
It says no vendors, it says it's gonna be like grilling,
Okay.
so I told them to make sure that they follow all the guidelines.
Any other questions on the Old National Bank employee party? Not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
This is a new one. I told them we could talk to you and see where to go with some of the things they're requesting. It is Chariots of Fire. It's a church. They're wanting to do a church revival at the beach next to the bathrooms in that grassy area where we hold the concerts in July. Down the hill from Ironman. So they are wanting it to be a 3-day event, June 12th to 14th. They would be there probably about 4 p.m. on the 12th, and they'd still be cleaning up anywhere from 10 to midnight on the 14th. They're saying about 40 people, but what they're requesting is, so we had talked to them about they want to keep somebody out there to watch their equipment. We had showed them the tent campground. They're wanting to have somebody set up a tent under their tent that they're going to set up at night to watch their equipment. They said there's like $10,000 worth of equipment, so they don't want to leave it over there and then go camp down the road.
So they're asking us to provide that?
they just want to be able to have their tent up at night under their tent. Yeah. For us, they're just asking for the bathrooms to be unlocked, which they will, and then the space down there by the bathroom, and to be there for 3 days.
Can I ask, do you know what a revival is? Is that kind of like a baptism in the water or something like that? Does anyone know? I don't know.
I assume they've got.
I don't know how to exactly-
I assume they've got sound equipment or concert equipment that
I
they're
think
bringing out.
I know it's going to be at night every night. Does anybody know?
Yeah,
It's church?
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's probably electrical equipment and sound equipment that they're looking to
Yeah,
protect.
they said if they enjoyed being out there, they'd probably come back and request doing a baptism in the future.
How do we, I know we've got other multi-day events out there. How do other vendors or contacts protect their equipment? I mean, I know Iron Man's got a lot of stuff out there.
Iron Man, it's kind of, we watch it. I think I don't know where they're at. They keep it in like a bunch of trucks, but half the time it's not locked up. We've caught them not locked up before because we've had to call and be like, hey, I don't know if you should keep this unlocked all night. But I would imagine somebody's out there. They've just never told me. Usually I have people above me that handle Iron Man. I usually do a lot with it, but stuff like that I usually don't handle when it comes to security and dealing with the people who run it one-on-one.
So essentially what they're asking for is overnight access to the park during closed hours to monitor and secure their equipment. Is kind of what I'm
Yeah,
translating.
they just want one person to be able to stay over there and watch it overnight.
And that's outside the fence, right? Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Do they have insurance?
They do have insurance, yes, through the church.
Very good.
That person is basically their security.
Yeah.
Yeah, the overnight security.
Are they paying for 3 days
For the 3-day,
rental?
for the what?
Are they paying for the space for 3 days? The rental?
Not,
Renting?
we don't have anything that we would
Just
rent
the
out
event,
down there.
just the event
Yeah.
cost, right?
Yeah.
So there's an event.
We don't
cost
rent
associated
that area, and they're not tent camping in our tent area, so they are not renting a spot over there.
So it's basically they can hold this there for free?
No, there's the event cost, right?
Just the event cost, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it like a 24-hour?
It's gonna be, I believe, at nighttime from like 6 to 8 or 7 to 9, I believe is what he said.
But they'll stay set up.
It's just a couple hours at night,
Each night.
yeah.
Okay.
But they're occupying the space for multiple days, correct?
Right. They're not going to pack up and leave.
Is this impeding on public space?
That area is not, the only thing that they would be using is the parking. And their event, they're saying about 50 people, but some of these other events are having about the same in the same area. They won't be taking up any more room, parking than anybody else. The only thing is that grass area down there, and nobody walks through that. We have a path, like we have the steps that go down, and then you have parking down there too. And then there's a sidewalk that goes all the way around it. Most people aren't in there unless it is an event, which we hold 2 more in the same area.
I think space is okay there on that. Personally, I don't see an objection to that. We need to make sure that you've got a good contact for exactly who that is, and we convey that to the security team. It can't just be, oh, it's somebody out there. We need a name and a contact information, which I'm sure they can provide whoever's going to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And I think they're going to want to be in contact with my security that will be out there as well. We discussed that.
Any other questions, thoughts, discussion?
Well, I would say if they are occupying the space for 2.5 days or 3 days, that's the time of the rental. It's not just for the time that the people are actually there. Does that make sense?
We don't have a rental fee associated with that space, correct? So they're not
Yeah.
renting a shelter that's got a
Um,
fee.
We have another event that's going out there where they set up the night before, so they have a tent to, just like they'll have, it's there for 2 nights instead of 3. That is it's a dealership out of Indy that they come every year.
Right.
It's something we could look for, or like look into in the future, but we haven't charged any of the people who set up early or have events the last couple days there at this time.
And I know that's an item we've discussed a little bit in the past that we are,
And the
Event-
size of the event, possibly charging
our
more.
event costs out there are pretty nominal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're the same across the board for a
Big.
small, like the old national event of 50 people or the
Exactly.
Ironman of thousands of people.
I
So,
think us and you guys have kind of spoke since probably September last year about what size, like what the size would be and what the cost would be. And what do we call a large event and a small event? And then what will our prices be?
Yep.
But I think there is reason to look into that.
I think that's something I'd charge you and Kelly and Carl to work on this year is define what we need to do there, and maybe we can get something in the fall here to get some event
Pricing?
pricing adjusted for next year.
Or timing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multi-day event
Yeah.
versus single-day event, large and small
Absolutely.
events is kind of what I would see. Any other discussion?
I'd make a motion to approve with the
Approve.
current event rate.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Great.
Okay, this last one, the only reason it needs approval is the size. They've rented one of the shelters down by the beach, but it's a family reunion. It's going to be approximately 60 people. That outdoes our size of the shelter, so they might need some space outside of it. The reason I'm bringing this is because we've actually discussed the size of the events in the past, and just because they're out doing that shelter, we want to make sure it's okay with you if they might need to set up a table outside of the shelter or something like that. Because the shelter, I believe, holds 40.
So I believe that was kind of on our, yet again, I don't have our rate sheets in front of us, that was detailed that once you exceed the shelter size,
Then it's a,
it qualifies as an event. So that's where this is going. So that would incur the event fee in addition to the shelter rental
Yeah.
fee then.
they are serving food, but it's just a family, no vendors, all family.
What's the date on that one?
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That one is August 9th, 10 to 6.
Any other questions or discussion? If not,
Well, I would say that, yeah, if it's exceeding that shelter space, then there should be an event fee
right. So
added to it.
Okay. And we'll keep doing that.
Any other questions? Not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, board. I'm gonna send up Roger and the crew from Catfish
Okay.
Pirates and AMVET's Post 12. That's in Broy Ayrton.
Okay. Don't be shy. We
Yeah.
don't bite. Hopefully the fish are.
I'm Roger, founder of Catfish Pirates. We're a conservation type group, catfishing. Love the outdoors my whole life, hunting and fishing. We've have been running that group on Facebook for about 10 years. So what we did was, here several years back, actually this event's our 6th year doing this, we decided we wanted to do something in the community so people would know who we were, what we were about. We kicked around a few ideas, cancer, veterans, everybody has issues in their family with cancer and veterans alike. My family's no different. So we settled on veterans just because there is a lot of things out there for the cancer community. My wife went through that several times as well. I have a lot of family that was in the service, and I never served, so this was our way to give back. So what I did was I reached out, the only person I knew, I went to school with John from AMVETS Post 12. He's actually our state Sons commander now. And since then, this event has just really taken off, leaps and bounds. I'm also now an AMVETS third vice officer as well. I believe this will be my 3rd year doing it. Great group of people, great cause. Very proud to be a part of this organization. We are a nonprofit. And through this event last year, we raised almost nearly $11,000. Now that money was used, it stayed right here in Delaware County, but it was used across Indiana as well, various other counties. It's to be used only for veterans that are in need, and it is kept in a special account at AMVETS, and that is overseen by the commander, and he keeps me involved with what they spent some of the money on, and actually we've helped bury some of the veterans that didn't have financial means to do so. Great cause. We got a huge backing from the fishing community. Last year we had almost 240 sponsors nationwide.
Cool.
This is the biggest single event that I know of that I've seen across the country. And we have that right here in Muncie.
Wow.
We're getting a lot of support. What I want from you guys is to help us advertise this and get this word out to the community, because it is a community event. And we're trying to show people we're not scamming them.
Yeah.
Their money, their donations, it's going for a great cause. Books are always open for them to come out and see where this money has been used, what's left. And it's been a hard process to get businesses on board with this, because there are so many scams out there. And what I'm looking for is trying to get some of our bigger corporate businesses that might want to be involved with something like this, and they're not sure how to do that. That's where I'd like some involvement from the city to help us with that part of it. I may not know a certain person who to get a hold of, but that's what it takes, of knowing somebody, the right person to get a hold of somebody. So, and that's the biggest challenge, is just getting the word out and showing them what we're doing and what we're all about. But these guys right here, they're a huge help to me in this event. We want to keep this going. Tawny's helping me a huge amount this year. So this year we're going to have she touched on it briefly, a fire truck, maybe an ambulance. Last year we had a police SWAT vehicle. I believe we're going to have that again this year. And I've got a personal friend I used to work with. He is a recruiter for National Guard. I believe we're going to have a whole squad of guards out there with possibly some military vehicles and possibly our local ROTC. I'm wanting to show military presence out there. Like I said, we supply all the food. All that's free. We don't have any vendors. We do some raffles there. Of course, all that money, along with what we do in the tournament, that's all tallied up the next day, and I turn that over to the commander.
Okay.
And we make it very, very public, what we've done and what's being done with it. So hopefully you can help us get the word out. It's a great cause, and if anybody is a veteran or knows a veteran that needs help financially with bills or whatever, all they got to do is get a hold of Post 12, and they're in AMVETS. Ask for Kurt, he's our commander, and he will work with you or that person and get him taken care of.
Well, thank you. I know Tawny has spoke highly of your event here in the past. What we can do for you is probably the best way is continue working with Tawny, Kelly and Carl there. Sounds like you got a Facebook presence, some social media.
Yeah,
We can
do.
certainly share and post some of that. I know that's one that we've worked on in the past is trying to make sure that we've got events posted and build some awareness, not only your event, but all the events we've got out there is, I've said before, it's kind of diamond in the rough out there. And if you don't know it, you don't know.
Yeah, that's been
The hardest
been our
part.
biggest hurdle. A lot of people haven't heard about us, but it is slowly getting out there. Now the fishing community across the board, as far as in the world of boats and catfish, and even some of the hunting businesses, they know who we are. All the way in southern states, across both east, west coast, they know who we are, what we're doing, and it's phenomenal how they've stepped up and sent us donations for items to raffle off, fishing equipment, and, that's the other thing, when people come to our event, everybody gets fed free, everybody gets a ticket for a chance at a free door prize. All these door prizes that we have, that we give away, are donations from our sponsors. So our sponsors, it's not what you give, it's the fact that you do something, offer items that we can raffle off, giveaways, door prizes, or offer a service to us. So
When is your event?
May 24th. It's always Memorial Weekend. It's always the Saturday before the actual holiday on Monday. We do that for a reason. AMVETS has a lot of other events throughout the year. Usually by that latter part of May, the weather is phenomenal. It's a great time to be out. And obviously that holiday is related for veterans. So it ties in perfect for what we want. We're not going to move it. We're going to keep it there because we're celebrating veterans.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Appreciate
You're welcome.
the work you're doing. Thank you, veterans. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Just to piggyback with that group, we were having a conversation with our communications director, so if we can get a flyer from the group, and Kelly and I can get it to Amber. And this is one of the conversations that we had the other day about the city able to control, not so much control, but help put the word out about what's going on at Perry Creek. And so that's one of the roles of our communication director. So that's one way. Plus, I'm a veteran myself, and so I appreciate all that they do. But we can definitely get that flyer to Amber downtown.
Thank you, Carl.
Commander, do you think you could get a flyer to Tawny? Okay.
Yep. Excellent. Any other Prairie Creek items? I know we've got Indiana Water to talk about a little bit. We'll handle that in new business. Next on the agenda, we've got Friends of Prairie Creek. I don't know that I see anybody that wants to talk about that today. No, not at this time. They've got their Easter egg hunt coming up. And then the Friends of Prairie Creek meeting is
It was
no, it got moved to the 25th. 25th is the Friends of Prairie Creek meeting out there at the community building.
Cool.
Old business, we've got a few items to discuss on that. We've got the summer program, TUI and Cardinal Swim contracts. Carl, any update on those? Or I know Shannon has also been working on some of those details.
Yeah, the TUI contract is one that we wanted to make sure the board had a chance to review. I've had a chance to look at it. The Wise looked at it, and Mark's had a chance to look at his office. We had a conversation today about it. So just wanted the board to have a conversation about it and
Have we seen that? Have I missed that? Did that come in the email or where's?
I haven't received it.
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay.
So, yeah. My understanding is we got it, it's approved either through yourself or through the mayor. I don't know if
Yeah.
both or who's signed that at this point.
I think, your office had, she had a chance
Aubrey
to,
reviewed it, would be my
Yeah,
guess.
she has it.
Okay.
so,
Yeah, we just need to, I think we're contractually obligated at this point, but we still need to get that to the board to review. I know that's one of the concerns I had as we kind of talked about that, probably as early, at least November.
February,
Um,
or-
Yeah, we talked about it in November.
right.
And that's something we're gonna need to make sure we get on the list for next year, is that we're reviewing these contracts, well in advance. Kind of put us in a hard spot. I don't think we wanted to step away from YMCA at all. We appreciate their support and their help out there. But at such late notice, certainly, kind of tied our hands on what our options were if we wanted to make any adjustments, so.
I don't know how many options we got.
Right,
Unless we get started at the end of the year, then that's one way to go, but if they pull out, then where we at?
yeah, it'd be a huge, huge undertaking for us and something,
Are we at least gonna see the contract?
Yes, it's in the office.
okay,
Could somebody email that to us?
Yep,
all right.
But it has been signed by somebody?
yep.
Aren't all contracts supposed to come across this board before being signed?
Typically submitted here for preliminary review and approval, and then they have to be signed after we would approve.
So if they're not preliminary reviewed, what does that? I mean, we're skipping the board, so we're skipping oversight, basically.
Mm-hmm. So I know we had some highlight notes that we reviewed, but there wasn't any contract associated with that. It was kind of a
Budget.
cost in summary, comparative contrast, but that's the documentation I've seen at this point.
Because the summary can be a lot different than the actual document. So
Absolutely.
So how many days we need to get that? How much time do we need to get that in front of?
At this point, I don't know that it matters. If we've got it signed, I think it's probably binding. I don't know, that'd be a question for the legal team. But certainly something we still want to review and be prepared for. And I guess from my perspective, we need to make sure that that's something that we are seeing before the board, probably in that November and December timeframe,
Well, and then
for next
ask-
year.
why it wasn't brought to us before? I mean, because we know this is an annual contract, so.
Right.
So why were we bypassed? Is the question I would like to ask.
Did we have this, I thought we had a discussion months ago about it.
We've talked about it several times, but I don't know that I've seen the physical contract.
We had questions in, it's April now, we had questions about the budget in February where we asked, because there were some new price suggestions for different line items that they wanted. And I had asked questions about, well, is this new money, this new request based on a full year, or was that based on the days of the year of last year, which was cut like a month short because of the vandalism? So there were questions that were never responded to. We never got answers about the budget. And then it was not brought up or brought to us at the March meeting. And here we are in April.
And I know, Carl, or you and I had some conversation, kind of like we mentioned before, is like, what do we do at this point?
Right.
And we're, like I said, between a rock and a hard place here is, even if we wanted to pivot or they pulled out for some reason, it's so late in the game, what do you do? So that's, to me, is certainly the biggest issue, is that this wasn't earlier on and get finalized. I've got faith that the legal team reviewed it and there's no major legal issues. assuming it went through that process. And
But if it's there's stuff in there we don't agree with, and if we keep pushing it out,
yeah,
and then we use the excuse that, well, it's gonna be a detriment to the program, I mean, that'll be the excuse every time.
yeah, that's, so,
Sounds like maybe the solution is the contract should get pushed out tomorrow
yeah.
to this
that's-
board to review,
Yeah,
with the understanding that time is of the essence.
Right.
And I think that's probably been the biggest thing is there are limitations on what can be done at this point. But to reinforce this board's oversight, it should come out to everyone. Everyone should have an opportunity to ask questions
I would agree,
and to
absolutely.
review. And I think the contract, I know I talked to Aubrey, it has been reviewed and approved. It's, from a legal standpoint, it's okay. So it can be pushed out, and I know Carl had talked with Aubrey, and it's okay because we all talked about that today. So it can be pushed out to everyone
Yep.
right away, so.
And then, the Cardinal Swim Club contract, that was submitted to them on, Wednesday of last week, and their board is meeting this week to look at our contract with them. I haven't talked to them, their president, since. Has anybody?
Yeah, right. And I know, Shannon, you and I had several emails there on that contract. I may not have copied you guys on that one, so I'll make sure I send that one out to you guys as well. Any other questions? Next on the agenda, we got West Side Skate Park update and rules. See, we've got a packet here associated with that. Looks like this is quite a bit trimmed down from the original one we had. I think this is, looking over this is probably a good foundation, a good start. Any discussion on this, Carl, or?
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to have it for some discussion. Right now, we don't have anything out there. People are out there skating already. And so we have nothing posted. I think they had some signs along that keep out, but kids are out there. I've seen them out there on the wet pavement as well. So the sooner we can get, and there's a spokesperson here to speak a little bit too. As soon as we can get something up, posted up, some rules up, the better off we are in terms of if someone gets hurt as of right now, then that's going to come towards
This
the
is-
city.
On the report of problem to the Muncie Police Department, we need to add dispatch number to that.
Okay. Yep.
I know we talked about the language of signs.
Yep.
This is a nice kind of rules, but there also needs to be, if I recall, legally, there has to be some other kind of signage that really hits, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if we went over to Newcastle and took pictures of their signage, or,
You may have some information.
and we need to get those up, I think, as soon as possible, just to protect the city.
Yep. And that's just, like I said, something for you guys to massage, just to kind of start looking at what we can do to, when we get a final proposal in front of you to get the signs up and whatnot. So
And,
it's something new. This is our first park, first time putting it in. And so other cities around have, I'm sure, had to go through some of the same steps to get all the rules put in place. And so right now, we don't have anything out there at all. And there's people out there on the skate park every night.
Carl, I don't know if you know this, but do some parks have, skate parks have time? Like, I know our parks are open until 11 PM at night. Are some skate parks,
That's the Don.
it's dusk to dawn? So if we had some time, there needs to be time signage as well.
That stuff we can add, yeah. I do know,
Especially if there aren't any lights
Yeah.
yet. I mean, that might be a next phase for our park, that skate park, but without lights, that's gonna put us in a, we should probably have some
because it says,
dusk to
it
dawn.
was told, that's the Don, but our park closed at 11. All
Right.
the city parks closed at 11, so those people are not gonna leave the park, they're gonna stay right there, and they wanna go in that skate park at night. Who's gonna say they can't?
Right.
So, but it's new, like I said, we're creating a new area that we haven't had, so just think it's something we gotta work on and work through. I've talked with the city engineer about it just a little bit, and Mark, you was there when, heard a little bit of the conversation about it, whether I felt it was the right conversation I wanted to hear, but it was a conversation about it, and so, but it won't be prolonged, it'll be open, and the place is gonna be packed. And so we gotta get out in front of it and get some posted, get some stuff posted, so.
You mentioned you've got representative from the skate club. I don't know if he's got any additional details or anything to share with us.
No more history with it than myself.
Hi, good to see everyone again.
Hi.
Real quick here, the it's Indiana Code 34-6-2-44.5, the extreme sport area clause. This for purposes of Indiana Code 34-13-3 means an indoor or outdoor ramp, courses, or area specifically designed for the exclusive recreational or sporting use of one or more types of sport equipment, and this is the one that ties it into the, takes the liability off of it. That's why we originally, in our original presentation, we needed to be done at a city park.
Okay.
There's one posted in Bloomington, there's one posted in Newcastle. I don't know if Columbia City has theirs posted yet. Kokomo has theirs on their 3 facilities. But
Okay, let me ask you another question.
absolutely.
So we need to sign that list that has that clause number on it, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah. And then how, I was thinking about this, what about fencing around the skate park?
Carl asked me about that, and
Oh.
I don't know, the only skate park that I can think of that does have a fence around it is the original park at Kokomo,
Okay.
and it's open. I know we were working on some lights at that West Side Park. That was one of the benefits of that location. It was a highly traveled area. Of course, it's dark, but I think we had some people working possibly with AEP on that, so,
On lights or fencing?
lights.
Lights.
Okay.
so.
I assume you've seen a copy of this. You don't have any major concerns or objections to this. It's,
No,
like I
no.
said, certainly an abbreviated version of the one we saw probably 6 months ago at this point. I think the other piece of this is, my understanding is that the Parks Board doesn't specifically have jurisdiction to make ordinances or laws regarding the city parks. There is verbiage in the city code that we can make the rules for the Prairie Creek, which we've done last year. So anything that would vary or be outside of the current rules of parks, I think the best way to handle that is that we develop something, we approve it, and support it, and then it would have to come before city council.
That's correct.
To become an ordinance, so that way it's enforceable and there's penalties associated with that. So I think this is a good starting point, a good discussion, and something that we'll need to partner and work with city council to establish anything that's associated with a penalty or enforcement.
I want to give some kudos to Carl. He is trying very hard to be ahead of this. This is a first-time venture in Muncie, and I know we've had a number of conversations about security, about notices, lighting, all those things. So any input from people that are knowledgeable about skateboarding, about other parks, whatever, I think will be really important, because we've got a situation where the park has come up, and we're trying to catch up to make sure we've got the rules, the regulations, the notices. And I do want to give Carl a lot of credit, because he's been concerned about that and working toward that for a number of months now, so.
Any other questions this time?
So just action items, are we, can we, do you think that's something like within the next month that we can order signage for and get that?
Well, I think we're going to establish some of these rules, and then, I mean, it's a process to get it through the city council side as well.
Okay,
I certainly think we can reference the state code on the extreme sports, that's within current ruling. We'd certainly put up, I don't think there's anything crazy on here that it should be objected to. Yet again, it's just the enforcement portion. So I know that's one of the issues we had with police out there at Prairie Creek, is that it's a rule, but it's not codified anywhere, and there's no enforcement. It's all a suggestion essentially at this point.
Yeah.
I think also on that signage, we need to reference that all city park rules apply. So our opening hours or closing hours, or firearms, the graffiti, the vandalism, all those apply. It should be assumed, but that's not always the case, so.
but then that's saying that the skate park closes at 11 PM.
Correct. So if we want something different, we have to follow the steps to push that through, so.
So, I know you're,
Just in the conversation that I had with the city engineer, it definitely is dusk to dawn. So there's no support right now for lighting or security cameras.
Right.
As I was told. So.
And I think that's the intention, and I think everybody agrees on that. But yet again, the police come out, they get called, they don't have anything to enforce, right?
Correct, I agree.
So,
And if you got posting up, they can at least enforce what's posted. And then they can work on whatever else they need to do as far as arresting power, if need be. But there needs to be some kind of posting.
Yep.
Like I said, they're out there on the skate park right now, and there's nothing out there at all. I pass there every night going home,
me too.
and they're out there. So the sooner the better we can get something in place.
Do you want us to take that on, Carl?
We can take it on as a team.
Okay, I can help.
Nikki and I has been trying to get a definite on opening. She sent the email, and I don't know how long it's been, a month at least,
yeah.
maybe a little longer, to try to.
I'm sure we're getting close here.
Yeah,
So,
so,
Sir, what were those citations again, those code sites? I couldn't quite hear, I'm sorry.
34,
34, or this is a 34-6-2-44.5.
I'm sorry, the last one's the one I missed.
44.5
44, 45.
or 44.5, yeah, 44 and a half.
yeah.
I didn't know they had half codes, but I guess they do.
I'll have to look at it as well.
I've got several pictures, I think it's in the proposal too, from the Bloomington Park. Show you what.
could you,
Oh, I
send
can
those?
email
Yeah.
that to
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
send those to
Sounds-
Carl and us. And-
It
and
looks like a state, you know,
That's
the
good. That's what we need.
Reference state.
And then maybe we could get that in front of city council for, May. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay,
They're,
I hear
yeah,
you.
it's probably close. I think with that in mind, does this board see any issues with these rules as presented? adding reference to the state code, adding reference to dusk to dawn, and adding dispatch contact on these rules. Anything else we need to add at this time, or any other concerns regarding this proposal? Certainly, we can add to it and we can massage it as we work through, but I think that sets at least the first step to allow us to move forward and possibly even get something we get on the docket for them. It's going to be 2 months as well with them. So there's opportunity for adjustment or amendments there. No other modifications or changes. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Okay, piggybacking on that, I wanted to say this is, I've been approached by several community members. I've reached out to some friends of mine that I've been skateboard buddies with since the 80s. So I ended up, like what we're going to do is we're going to take this skate park coalition, and we've kind of come up with some little thing here that says who we are. It says, the Muncie Skate Park Coalition is a committee of local volunteers committed to maintaining the integrity of the Muncie Skate Park. And our mission statement is, the Muncie Skate Park Coalition works to create an inclusive environment, welcome visitors, and foster open, mutual communication with the City of Muncie and the Muncie Parks Department to ensure the proper care and maintenance of the park to support a safe, welcoming, and thriving space for skaters of all levels. And that does include scooters, BMXers, I'm not, the whole anything, rollerblades, roller skates, if it rolls, ride it. But I was also looking for like the parks, your permission to proceed with this and be involved with this, and possibly, present you with monthly updates on stuff. I have a friend of mine, we're gonna make have a little thing, to try to get a thing there with a QR code on it, where people can scan that, sign in, where they're from, get on our, also working on the website. I can do Facebook, that's about it.
Kind of like a digital guest book, right?
Absolutely.
Sign in, see where people came from, where you're riding from, what you're doing, how long you've been riding.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think it's great that you guys put together an organization. I mean, we've seen the success that we've had with working with Friends of Prairie Creek. I see this as another venture here. I know it's something the board has talked about several times, is we've got a lot of people that are kind of siloed in what their engagements and involvements are. And I think this is another one that we can continue to build and even start to work your groups together.
Yeah, and that also
different
helps, it
organizations.
just kind of, it gets people's eyes out. You have a lot of people with different eyes on the place.
Exactly.
Also.
Yep.
Well,
Certainly, I don't know that there's anything there for approval from us, but I encourage you to continue to work and support that. And if things come up, certainly get us involved, and we'd love to.
Yep, nope, absolutely. 'Cause we're working on planning, fundraisers, demos, the professional skateboard teams.
Wow.
There's,
Cool.
companies, sponsors, all that stuff that travels.
Yeah, so I think this is just another amenity for us to be able to have events out there and build usage of the parks.
All right, well, thank you.
Any other
Thank you,
questions?
Todd.
New business, we've got, I'm not even gonna try, Joe.
Kucharski?
There's a lot of letters in there, with the sail club on the docks out there.
Actually, this is about fishing. And if everybody recalls that back last summer, at the end of the summer, we were talking about creating a better environment for people who are shore fishing. And I unfortunately opened my big mouth and volunteered to put something together, which I did do last fall. Yeah, but I was asked to please present that today to the board. And these are concepts that would enhance the shore fishing. So I've got some handouts out.
Yeah, certainly. Present.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have the fish been stocked out there?
Have you?
Have the fish been stocked?
That would be a DNR question. I believe they handle that. I don't have an answer.
Okay.
First of all, I'm not a fisherman, so I took the information that we had at the meetings and started putting this together. The first page that you have kind of outlines the features that we'd be talking about, and that's that you would have a foundation that's secure, that's easily accessible. People who have mobility problems would be able to access this. It puts the fishermen 20 feet, approximately 20 feet offshore. And that was one of the things that they were looking for, is to be further offshore, get into the deeper water. The first concept that you have is very, very simple, just a basic square. Again, it would put the people about 22 feet offshore, and it would create a working area that is 140 inches by 10 feet. So that's, and the bridge that leads out to it would have handrails. So again, you could easily access this. You could put curbing on it to provide that people with wheelchairs would not roll off. So there's a lot of opportunity there. The second sketch is a little bit larger and has a Y-type feeding into the dock sections. It, again, would be 20 feet offshore and would provide about 20 feet of shoreline access on the outside here. So, again, you're getting a little more area. The third concept, again, adds a few more square feet and actually has about 24 feet of longitudinal access and puts you, again, about 20 feet offshore. So each one of these puts you about 20 feet offshore. Every one of these can be expanded or contracted any way you want to configure it, just like the docks. It's the same material as the docks. All the hardware is the same as the docks, so it's not anything really different. Maintenance is minimal. You don't have to worry about, the things floating away. They would be anchored with poles, and it would be very simple. Winter storage, you pull the poles up and you just let them float, same as the docks. There is a photograph in there to give you some perspective of what the space would kind of be like. This is an actual photograph at a resort where they have this installed. And you can see they have a chair out there to sit on. There's plenty of walking room. And it'll give you some of the spatial concepts that you could have for the people out there doing the fishing. There are things that you can add to this, and I put those accessories on here. You can add a bench that's anchored right to the docks, so if people want to sit while they're fishing, you could sit. There is another concept of a bench that's a little bit simpler, but that also could be attached to the docks. The poly post that's shown up on the top of that one page, that can be just a single post that's anchored in the pockets, or you could take a couple of those posts, put tubing across there to create a railing. So, or rope, or, any kind of mechanism like that. So those are options, and there's also options for solar lighting that you could put on top of the poly post or put in the pockets around the perimeter. Again, those are all added little extras. You don't have to do any of this at one time. The swim ladder is something that you might want to consider for safety. If somebody falls in the water, it makes it easy for them to get up out of the water. One of the other advantages of this would be that if you have an event like Ironman, you could easily detach this from the bridge and floated out into the water as a safety platform. So it could be used for things other than just fishing. These can be placed anywhere along the shoreline. You can move them. If you don't like the position that they're in, you pick it up, move it. And with that, I think I've covered everything that's out there. You have any questions?
Any ballpark costs associated with any of these proposals?
I'm guessing that you'll probably be in, depending on what you pick, about $8,000 to $15,000 per installation. Because you got a 10-foot bridge, and then each of the dock sections, and then handrails. So that's going to be, some of the cost. I mean, you can start with one, try it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, you can use it over for the docks.
Well, thank you, Joe. That's I know it's a issue that the Sail Club is concerned and passionate about. You guys have wanting to make sure that fishing can coexist with you guys in a safe manner.
Yeah. And that's really our motivation, is to, keep the fish hooks off our docks and out of our boats. And if we can give people a better environment, then, great. I do want to bring up one other thing. We are working with the Academy of Model Aeronautics. And we're trying to put together a program because we both have mutual interests in membership. So there's a crossing over between our two organizations. One of the things that we're in the talking stages right now is that we would have a regatta that would be the radio-controlled sailboats, and we would conduct that in our harbor area. We would close off the harbor area and let them do a regatta in the harbor area. One of the questions that did come up, some of the members of that organization have float planes, and they would be interested in bringing those over and launching them and flying them over the reservoir. So that's, again, we're in the talking stages, so any input that we can get from you guys on that would be appreciated. And if we do have that come to some conclusion, the event would be just members from our organization and the AMA. So it wouldn't be an open to the public at this point.
Private event, as it would be here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
New business, we've got Todd Swackhammer, Plant Studios, West Side Skate Park. I guess anything else to add on that, or did we cover pretty much everything there? Covered? We're good?
Actually, I did some research here. I found it's so here, I'll get my claims here. It's the IC 34-13-3-3. It goes down here. It says a government entity or an employee acting within the scope is not liable. Within the scope of the employment is not liable if a loss results from the following, and there's several, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then down here is a set of rules governing the use of the extreme sport area. And that is what, I'll email it to you, that's what Bloomington has on their sign.
Thank you. Next on the new business, we've got TUI pool admissions.
Yes. This is something that I wanted to bring to the board. I would like to recommend that we increase the prices to the pool by $1. So that would make the adult entrance $6. The teen entrance, $5. The child entrance, $4. And I think infants should still be free. And seniors is actually the $4 as well. So it's just raising the prices a little bit. They have not been raised for as long as I've been affiliated with the Parks Board. And just considering all the costs of everything entailed with running a public pool for thousands of visits a season, I think it's time that we did raise our rates.
And this is just to help cover operational costs, correct?
Yes. Well, I mean, with actually, the Parks Department won't see that money, the way that the funding is set up, that will go into the general fund.
So will it be used for the pool or?
Yes, our budget is fixed, right? So we have the money we've got, and this doesn't change our budget. So unlike Prairie Creek, where that money stays at Prairie Creek and is ours as a board to control, this doesn't change the budget per se. Now, I could argue that this would give us another layer of ammunition to go before council and the mayor and the administration to say we need to increase the TUI budget. We need to adjust things, and we've increased rates to reflect that. I think that's could be a good arguing point for Carl as he works through those budget lines, but it does not directly impact our number.
Well, I would like it to directly impact TUI. If we're gonna do it at TUI, I'd like it to directly impact TUI. So if we don't have control of that.
Right.
I would ask that we look at the budget, total budget for TUI's and the expenses associated with operating the city pool. I don't know when the last time that they've actually looked at and massaged the actual costs and expenses associated with the pool. It hasn't happened in 5 years that I've been here. And so, as a board, I would definitely be in support of having the board sit down with the city and figure out, what we can do going forward, even for next year, before we present this to the council.
Well, that's where if we seen it before it was submitted and
Right.
accepted, we could make suggestions to the council.
Okay, sounds good.
Just give you more teeth to go to them with.
Right, correct. Okay. So that's what I would recommend that we do, definitely. There is a cost. I can give you one example. Last year, we didn't order the vacuum that we need to sweep, clean the pool. And so we looked at a couple, and they were like between $5,000 and $6,000 just to get something in to do. And that's something we have to do like ASAP when we open. We don't have a vacuum as of right now, as I speak. That's a cost that's definitely got to comes out, Nikki and I said, it comes out of budget somewhere. We have to take it out of. There's no TUI line item for maintenance upkeep. It has to come out one of the other park line items. So
Are we buying that vacuum?
we have to. I mean, that pool has to be clean.
Yeah,
And so,
okay.
I don't know if you've been down there when
Yeah.
the geese stuff is all in
Oh, I
and around
know.
the pool. It's pretty nasty.
Mhm.
So we don't, there again, we definitely gotta, we had some stuff before, but they're old and didn't really work that well, so.
Well, we have one more meeting before the pool opens, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
May.
Yes, we have May, right before we open up Memorial Day weekend. So we just gotta get moving on whatever it is that we gotta do, so.
I think that's one we probably need to get some more input on. I mean, we certainly have got some guidance there, and we control the rates of coming to the pool. Historically, the city administrations from both sides have supported the pool and understand that it's an asset and a value to the city.
Yes.
I don't think it's ever been viewed as a profit center by any means.
No, not at all.
So that's something that I think if they're looking for ways to increase our budget, this is something that we would entertain. But if they're willing to continue to support the pool and we've got a budget that is feasible, I don't know that this is required, being that it doesn't directly affect us, right? It kind of goes into the bucket and then we get a portion of the bucket. But I think that's something that we need to look at and have some more discussions on.
I don't think if we had a line item, we get any of that new bucket.
Right, right. So it's the income, the revenue and the budget are independent essentially. Where my goal would be to keep the pool affordable. I mean, it'd be amazing if it could be free. I know that's not even feasible or discussion.
Well, the people that are Y members get into the pool for free.
That's part of the contract and in the agreement, right? So that's,
We don't know, we didn't see it.
last year it was, right? So,
But
I agree we need an increase.
I don't,
Because
Yeah.
the fees, everything's going up for the pool. Chemicals are gonna
Yeah.
go up, and everything's going up now,
Exactly.
so.
Right.
and so for
But
the
that-
city
but
to
that fee
pay,
needs to be addressed at the
But-
pool.
yeah, we have to pay the wide MCA, right? To hire the lifeguards, to hire, to pay the front desk people.
Yep.
And that, so and that does come out of the parks budget. It doesn't
Correct.
come out of the city's budget or general fund, but, I don't think we need to view the pool as this just, let's continue to make, no money whatsoever. Just try to keep up with the times, a little bit of a raise. It's not even, in some of those cases, it's not even 20%, 20%. So it wouldn't be, that we're asking, for too much. It's still cheaper to go to this pool than it is to go to the movies, and you can spend all day at the pool. We have people that come from all over we have people from Indianapolis that come to this pool. It's the only public pool in the county. So, I think.
and I'm not, I guess I want to make sure, I'm not opposed to adjusting the rates. But at the same time, there's no benefit or push for us to adjust the rates at this time. I mean, it's,
I would like to readdress this next month,
Okay,
yeah,
after we can discuss with maybe some city council members.
Yep.
To see, so I get an understanding of how we can make that money go to Tui Pool.
the,
because I think that's really the root of this issue is that our budget is very tight.
Very tight.
And we're having trouble maintaining the pool in the current state.
Correct.
And as a board, I think everybody's willing and understanding and wants to help make that. It's just, we need to see it translate to a budget line.
I was told when I spoke to the controller's office that it wouldn't go to Tui Pool because it doesn't make any, it didn't make really sense to me, but it doesn't make money. So it's not something that they're going to put revenue into. I don't know, I didn't really understand it, but there is a real reason why the money doesn't come back to the parks.
Well, I would like a month,
And it's the same with like the cabin rentals as well, correct? It goes to the general fund. But I know there's like a reverting fund. There's something about a reverting
Non-reverting,
fund. Yeah, the non-reverting fund that maybe we need to have a conversation about with the controller's office.
I think it's a good discussion, and it's
Okay.
something that we need to continue to work on.
Yep, I agree.
And make sure that we can sustain the pool, and how's the city gonna support that, and how can we help them support that?
I think it's really important. All the parks, the pools, all the parks, everything we're dealing with are all quality of life issues. We want the quality of life to be the best here that it can be because that attracts people
Right.
to live here, to work here. And so I think anything that spurs the discussion about how do we enhance the quality of life through, not only more parks, but maintaining them really well, having the resources to take care of the pool.
Yep.
Well, I think it's a good thing. Those discussions need to be taking place. So I think even the fact that we've talked about this and we're going to talk about it next month is a good reason then for everyone to put their heads together about the whole process.
Yeah, because when Dickie and I look at the electric and the water bill, and once we look at that, it goes downtown, and then downtown has to make some adjustments within that budget to help with the costs associated with, added splash pads. Those take water and electric to run. So there's a cost there, there's definitely going to be an increase. We don't always know the increase for those particular, we just see that the electric bill is higher than what is being on the water bill is higher than what we normally have, so. Thank you.
Thank
Carl.
you.
I mean, we can't continue to grow if we can't take care of what we have.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
That is true.
I did have one other new business item on my notes here. We talked just briefly about and have some discussion, but I think there'll be more follow-up to come. There was a meeting between the city and the parks regarding, and Indiana Water regarding Prairie Creek. They did air some concerns and some issues that they have. They did take some responsibility and ownership in their engagement historically in the partnership we've had. A lot of their concerns were, the main one was water quality, as we expected. They've also got concerns about runoff, erosion, usage, and expansion at the Prairie Creek regarding amenities. So they indicated they were going to bring a proposal before the board, give us some more details, kind of talk about what they're seeing, what the vision they have. Unfortunately, I don't believe the trail was discussed in that meeting. I talked to Flatland Resources this morning. He had not heard any confirmation, yay or nay, so that's kind of where we were at on last meeting regarding the trail phasing. But I think there's more to come on that, and it's, I think we've all expressed our interest and concern in making sure we're working within their guidelines and continuing a good partnership there. Because that, if it went bad, it could go very bad, I think.
Right.
But I don't think that's where it's headed. Everything seemed positive and open communication in the meeting is my understanding. I was not personally in the meeting. But those are the notes and kind of the feedback I've got. I don't know, Carl or Mark, I think both sat in on that. I don't know if you got anything else to
Mark
add.
was there, Kelly was there. I think they were really wanting to hear from the DNR as to, regulations, what can happen out there, what we can do, what we can't do. So I don't know how much of their input has been before things got put in place, horse trails and some of the ATV things that were going on. So I think they were waiting to hear back from DNR to tell us what we can do. They may come in and say, we can't do A, we can't do B, we got to scale back altogether. So we're just waiting to hear that, and then I think hopefully it's going to have this before the board and have a direction with the city and the mayor going forward as a team. They don't want to see increased growth. That was the other thing they did mention. Some of those private piers that were put in, they want to have discussion about that. And so, as I know it, that was the conversation, so we're just waiting to hear back from the DNR, and then we'll know what direction to go.
one thing I think that was an outcome of the meeting, I think Indiana American does intend to come and make a presentation about Prairie Creek in May. And I think in the interest of transparency for everyone here tonight, we want everyone to know that. Anyone who sees it on the website or whatever, I think it's really important because, you know, they have raised a good point, and I think Carl said it well. Everybody's on the same team, and Kelly, I think, was there too. That's the spirit of cooperation. We want to have it for recreation. They need to protect it for water supply. It's
Right.
Muncie's, 75% or more of Muncie's water supply comes from Prairie Creek. And so the two things can coexist, and this is having a discussion to make sure they coexist well.
Right.
So I would encourage everyone to come to hear what they have to say at the public meeting in May, and then there'll be more to come from that. But you know how rumors get started, and the whole idea is we don't want any rumors. We want everybody to understand exactly what's going on and why.
Will they present at our meeting? or-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they'll come and be present.
At our meeting in public. So encourage anyone
Yep.
with an interest to come to that.
Thank you.
Hey, and what Carl's there, the trash?
Yes. So the other item, I guess that should have been old business, we discussed a little bit last month, was a trash interlocal agreement between the Muncie Sanitary District and the parks regarding trash pickup in the city parks and pocket parks and green spaces there. I did send that out this afternoon. Due to our delay, I did kind of review that. I think some of the other board members did as well. I don't know if we've got any, excuse me, any concerns or items we'd like to discuss on that, or if that's something we would be interested in entertaining a vote or approval on.
I was just asking Carl how he's, I've read it and I've talked to Jason at the sanitation. I think it's a good deal for you, because I think it's gonna free up a couple of people for you to put on mowers when mower gets crazy, and, I mean, I don't see the
Weekends,
negative
too.
in it, so I'd wondered if you had any.
Yeah, I hadn't had, Brad and I kind of talked this a little bit. So, I don't know what time frame we're working with, but just having a little more conversation with the board about it, whether that's in a Zoom call, how long we talking? Is it just for the duration of this administration? Is it long-term? Those are some things some questions I would have. 'Cause when I came on, we didn't have a trash truck, and so we were doing it with the trailer, and loading the totes up on the trailer that way. Prior to that, the city sanitation had a smaller, trash truck that they were coming through, getting the trash, in the parks at that time. So there's been some kind of interlock, working together. Don't know for how long that was before my time. But I do know they had been one time they were in the parks, doing some trash recovery and trash pickup. And then we kind of got our own truck and then just started doing it again, so.
It said 2029 is,
Yeah, so the contract agreement remains in effect through December 31st of 2029. The only one that's in there that I had maybe the legal clarification or would want to make sure I understand correctly is part of this, we would surrender our current truck to the MSD. If for any reason this contract was terminated, does that truck revert back to us?
Yeah, those,
And that's the only one that I would want to make sure is clear and an understanding on that. Because that would certainly put us in a bad situation if we surrendered that to them and then for some reason this expires before that term or even at the end of this term.
right,
Then we're back where we were.
yep.
they also said that they would provide tree removal for
Okay.
every year for up to $52,000
Which I think is the current agreement as
as
well.
well.
Yep, so it's, Yeah.
Okay,
Which is
so
what
that's
we're-
in the language.
That would all
of
remain the
contract.
same that we have now, I believe.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah,
$1,000 a week or 52,000 a year.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that's in a interlocal agreement anywhere, if that's just been a handshake deal, so that solidifies that as well, so
Is
that
that
locks us
ample?
in.
Is that
Yeah,
ample
I
funding?
think- We had that meeting a while back. We were supposed to have a MOU put together with Senate,
For that,
and
yeah.
I don't think that ever took place to kind of put that in writing. I think we had that one meeting in the park office to talk about the two agencies, but it's supposed to be put in writing. I don't think it ever
Yeah.
happened. So that's where I'm at with it, just some more. I think we need to just dot our T's a little bit before we
Okay.
think we're ready to sign off and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay,
Well, I think the sooner we get an agreement, the better, certainly for your guys, as we're coming into mowing season. But I think we've got enough questions that we probably need to put it on the agenda and make it a higher priority to get a decision
month?
one way or another next month, how we move forward.
Sounds good to me.
thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Any other action items or event approvals from the board or public? I do see one name on the list. I don't know if we already get that one covered. Two.
First one, I believe, is John Reeder, or Redder.
That's me.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak today. I got two concerns. The majority of it is on Perry Creek Reservoir as a fisherman and so forth, which some has already brought up earlier today. I love what's going on. One issue that's going on at the reservoir, how many of you guys been out there on the handicap pier on this board? Have any of you walked out there on it? It's good, but when you go to fish off of it, it's up here to your chest. The top rail needs to be dropped down where people that is handicapped can fish off of it much better, or sitting in a chair on that dock. Right now, it's impossible. If you're in a wheelchair, you can't get a pole up over, get a fish up over that top rail. It needs to be dropped down. I know why it was put on, to safety and so forth, keep kids, people running off. If you drop it down to an inch above where the bottom dock is, it'll make fishing much better off of that dock. I mean, or to eliminate that rail, one or the other. Because that bottom rail isn't high enough to keep people from going off of it, in my opinion. But if you just drop it down, it'll help out a bunch out there. Because I was out there yesterday, same guy sitting on the bench, the picnic bench, his pole's on top, and him sitting on top of it, fishing off of it, because it's so high. I mean, that's how high it is. It's too high. So that's a little bit of a concern I think that needs to be addressed. I don't think none of you guys even knew about that. Which the fishing out there is the best it's been in 15 years. And I mean, walleye and crappie, the biggest I've seen in years. I mean, I'm catching average 10 to 12 inch crappies. Walleye, I caught a 5-pounder last year. So fishing is excellent out there. And like I said, I'm part of the Catfish Pirates. I'm learning to catch catfish. Last year I caught 15-pound catfish out there on average. And the biggest one weighed in that tournament was 34-pound flathead. So fishing out there is great.
Good.
The other thing is, I think we need to be addressed is a emergency boat ramp. When the weather is like it was today, you can, if you had a breakdown that went out of the west or north and south, you cannot get off the boat, launch your boat, get on or off of it without a emergency. If you get broke down, which my dad did back in mid-'80s, basically have beach it on the west side, wait till the next day to get it off. If we have emergency boat ramp, which their ideal spot for that is the dead end Burlington, where the dead's into the water within 50 feet of the water edge there. I mean, just for emergency only. If a boat's broke down, you got that cove back there is sheltered, get you in and out of the wind. Granted, it's going to take some work to do some dredging and so forth where you can get the ramp in properly. But I think that is an ideal spot for a emergency boat ramp. Just for, when a boat's broke down and can't get towed across the lake, or something on that, bad weather comes up, if people get stranded on that west side, they can get off the lake. Yeah, they might have to drive around there and back down that ramp, down that road, but it can be done. I back down ramps a whole lot longer and steeper than that little road is. So that's two things that I think that needs to be addressed down the road. I know can't be done right now. I know you have to get approval, but there's stuff like that is going on out there you guys just don't know about.
Yeah, we certainly don't know what we don't know, and stuff like this is a
And
great
like I
forum
said, I've
for
been
that.
fishing out there my whole life.
Yeah.
I've seen, there's another thing that with the sailboat area, a lot of people love fishing that area. It's due for two reasons. One, their docks been there since as long as I can remember. I'm 55 years old. And the reason a lot of people love fishing their area, get the hook stuff, is because they're close to deep water. By putting these new docks in, will help that right there. Because people can access on that area alone. At the end of their docks is 15 to 20 foot of water. Within, from me to you, from the shore, is 5 foot of water. That is why the fishing is so great over there. The covers there is because of the deep water and the accessibility. Myself, as a handicapped person myself, it's so nice to be walk down there. I get run off there. I know it's their property, but the fishing there is so excellent in that area during springtime and fall of the year. It's just right now you can catch. I can go right there right now and catch fish because of where the location is, quality of their cleanness and so forth.
Excellent.
On that, I love what you guys did with the totes, big totes, trash cans out there, but there's certain areas out there that needs trash cans for public to throw away their trash. If you don't have them out there, people are going to leave them on the bank. I've seen it. I've cleaned it up. But we do need trash cans in certain high areas, especially for people getting off the pontoons, so trash away and so forth. But we need some more trash pickups in that area out there. I mean, you don't have nothing out there. What are they going to do? They're going to throw them right there on the bank and leave it. So that's what the water company is going to say. Well, if people leave trash, well, if they don't have a place to throw the trash, where are they going to leave it? Right there. I've seen it. I've got pictures of it.
Where is that?
Third bridge majority, which is this next bridge up from the sailboat area. I've seen people leave trash there all the time. Needs trash cans there, and over where my dock is, over by across from the campground, back there on that bay there, should be some trash cans there, just where people can drop off, you know what I'm saying, their trash. That thing is sitting there. I'm seeing it. I see it year after year.
Yeah, I know when we went to the trash toters, the intention was pack in, pack out. Unfortunately, some people are
Too lazy.
inconsiderate and disgusting and leave their trash around.
Yep.
And maybe that's something we need to revisit. I know one of the issues was the cost and the labor and the time, and how do we manage that? But I understand your complaint.
I mean, I'm hearing it all the time.
Yeah.
I hear it and see it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, yeah, I probably shouldn't say any more on that.
And the other thing, I mean, on the dock issues, the floating docks, I still don't understand why you guys pull it out in a year when they survive all year with the docks and so forth, where they're anchored down. And I get it, what you guys saying what it does, but it seems like each time you guys move them out from where they're anchored for the whole summer, they break loose from where you guys move and end up getting damaged. I mean, I thought this whole idea about going to these floating docks, to leave them in place where we don't have to worry about them in and out and so forth on that, which I get it. I don't understand it, but I don't understand why you know what I'm saying, here's the cost, you pull them in, and you take them back out, and you pull them back in. That's the whole idea about these docks, we didn't have to do that. The safety part on the docks, the new docks, you walk out on the main drag, no problem. You don't shimmy and so forth. But when you go out to get on your pontoon, on them fingerlings, you can be thrown off of them. And this can be just a regular boatway going by. I've been on them, walked out there, get past halfway point, you can get thrown off of them. And you guys fixed that issue at the boat ramp by putting 2 poles on the ends of the docks that are at the boat ramp. I think you guys need to do that too on the things, just keep people from getting thrown off of them. I've been out there, that's the biggest complaint. People with, older people and so forth with walking issues. I'm hearing it from people from the club, people I see here at the reservoir. That's the biggest issue, is the walkway out there. So that's why I just want to let you guys know what's going on.
Thank you, Mr. Reader, appreciate it. And thank you again for your service and for coming in tonight. Got one more, Nikki?
Warren King.
Good evening, I guess.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting me and informing me of this meeting. I'm an introvert, so if I start squeaking, it's because my energy's getting picked up or whatever. When I look around this room, I recognize faces from the reservoir, not from business, nothing. You know, Mr. Gogue, Mr. Breedlove, Mr. Dittmeyer, all acquaintance and people I've met over the years in this room from the reservoir. Three things I like to talk about. You know, I guess if I start, I would say I had a 10th grade history teacher that taught special needs kids in history. He was not your typical teacher. He talked about experience, strength, and hope. It took me years later before I realized where that come from and what the practical use of it is. I'm pretty familiar with the reservoir. I was actually born in a little house just south of the Sailboat Club. My earliest memories is fishing with my parents down at the Sailboat Bridge, my mother going home to cook dinner while my dad and I still stay there and fish. Starting to get a little excited. But over the years, I've seen that reservoir change. I remember when it was idle speed only. 15, 20 horsepower motors, I want to say 18, 60 plus years ago. It's hard for my memory. But back in that time, there was the hunting club out there, the beach, and the sailboat club, and the bait shop. That's the only businesses that I ever seen out there that ever stayed or made any good out there. That's a service for the public, I take it. Well, my issue when I called Mr. Malone, Carl Malone, I know he's a ball player, but thank you. I called him, I said I had two issues I'd like to address with him. One is the accessibility to bank fishing. And before I left, the second one was the trash issue. When I said my dad, or I was born out the reservoir, my dad put 50 years in with the water company. That's how I know Dean. Known him for years. He's a good family member. But my teacher, you know, he said to share. So I'll go out to reservoir, and there's absolutely no place to access the water. When I say that, the few fishing places at the bridge, when the power company come through, they just littered the shore with debris. So when I called Mr. Malone, I asked him if I could trim some brush back so I could stand and fish. That's when he told me I should come down there and speak. I mentioned the trash. So everybody kind of started pointing the finger to the water company. to DNR for what the problems is. So I thought about coming down here, not coming down here. Now I decided I would, and I made some calls. I called the waterworks on a couple occasions. They basically told me, now this ain't the legal lease, none of that stuff. They told me they didn't have a problem with me going fishing, cutting some brush out my way. I called the mayor's office, and they basically told me, well, it is what it is, and we put dumpsters out there, and it's done. Well, a better suggestion is maybe put some trash cans closer to the bridge, because people's not going to carry trash 200 yards. You might get them to go 20 feet. Just a suggestion. The reason I brought this up was I mentioned it to him. One year I bought bags and hung up myself out there. I watched the bags sit for a little bit before they started using them. I watched them fill, I watched them bust, and I watched the trash piled up. I watched old man and woman, I'm assuming they're volunteers from the way I gather it, clean that trash up one day. I didn't have the heart to tell them I caused that. I didn't have the heart, because I was angry, to stop and help them pick it up. Now that was on a Thursday. On a Friday, I drove out there and I asked people at the reservoir the issue. They gave me the nice little maps, shows the docks, shows the trails, shows the bird area, the parking areas, and they pointed the finger. DNR says the only thing they basically do is some grant money, I'm assuming, but basically they enforce game rules, wildlife rules, which I'm a big advocate of it. I'm an advocate of outdoors, period. I enjoy the bird watching out there. I think it's hilarious to watch eagles and ospreys duel. It's beautiful. Progress is good, not always. I see the campground, you know. I lose a lot of thought. I should have wrote notes. When I'm out there, I see very little places to park. The latest one they built where the old hunting club used to be at the Sailboat Club, Caddy Corner, that used to be a hunting club. There was always a parking lot there. Prior to that new one being put in there was a log laid across it for, I'm going to say 5-7 years. You couldn't even access that area. The people up through there acts like it's their private property. It's the only way I can describe it, which is okay. You know, I understand the water company keeps it limit. They want to preserve their reservoir, boat traffic, overdevelopment. It's all pressure on that reservoir. I understand you all want to make things better. But in my world, my earliest memories was fishing that reservoir. I'm taking my daughter out there to fish. DNR wouldn't even check me for license when I had my daughter out there. I respect that in a way. They wrote me tickets out there. It's part of it. So it come down to the bird watchers has nice trails, parking lots, built habitats. Beautiful. I don't have no complaints. Horse trails, 2-lane grass paths, the west side. It's beautiful. The dam's off limits. You have some agricultural things from what I remember. And then you have the camping trailers. Camping trailers, when they opened that up, it was for camping. It didn't take too long to get out of hand. And then it seemed like you hear of the cronyism and stuff. Personally, I think that's a darn good deal. If you got enough money to buy you a camper and a pontoon, a few bucks, you got a good deal. You got lakefront property. You got a gated community. You got security. There was fishing back here, but I don't know all the ramblings. It's moved. It's now stuck in a corner out of the way in a mud hole, my opinion, handicap ramp. If you ever seen the bird crap on it, you ever seen the dumped out worms, the cut up fish, it's not the best environment in the world. It's what it is. I understand it. Appreciate the effort. I don't think it worked. At least where it's at. Come on around. You got boat docks. It appeared that the city had their way. They completely around the reservoir. They're halfway now. Now, I don't know everything, but part of me calling, evidently that was some sort of issue that had to back off some of the boat traffic out there or something. which it needs. That's the erosion, that's the damage. Okay? So I'm a fisherman. Fished there all my life. Fished my kids there. I would love to take my grandkid there. I no longer can access that reservoir. Now, I do fish with W amputee that has to crawl up and down the bridges because it's a rough place. But if you're going to catch fish, it's about the only place that's accessible out there. The jetties that used to go out to these bridges used to be maintained and clean. You'd go out there, there'd be dozens of people fishing them, dozens of cars parked along the guardrail. Okay, things are busier, you can't do that no more, whatever. You're losing access to the river or the lake. Sailboat Club, they've had that sweetheart deal ever since they opened the reservoir. It's what it is. If you go on the back part of that property, they got the easement, they got tripwire ran around it. So you know you're not welcome. And in front of that, where you used to be able to park, is now blocked with cement barricades. You're not welcome. Across from the road from that used to be a trail. You could drive a dirt trail, drive over the bank to a dirt parking lot, and there's fishing everywhere. None of that anymore. So I hear the excuses. It's DNR. It's Muncie Waterworks. I call them, they say, we actually, water company want to preserve their property. No, we can blame them. DNR, they're doing their job. So, on one hand, change is good, but the changes Muncie Reservoir Parks Department is doing to the bank fishermen is just the opposite. There's no more bank fishing. I'll take you out there and I'll show you. West Bridge, there's 3 parking places over there. 3. 1 on the west side of the road, 2 on the other side. On the other side, there's been a tree laying down there, so now there's 2 parking spots. From there to the dam, well, you got the Horseman's nice place, trails, camping site, hitching posts, vector, pullets, can't access the water other than the one drive going over it. No access to the water.
We will.
The nice campers, waterfront property. For a couple, $3,000, I can keep my trailer. Yes, ma'am. I can keep my $100,000 camper, a $30,000 boat, and store it out there and have lakefront when I need it. It's great. It's great. But at the end of the day, I can't even walk up to the bank and fish. Yeah, I can ramble. So that's my experience. My hope is that you all understand there's more need out there than weekend campers or horse enthusiasts or bird enthusiasts or fishing and boating. It's a simple man that can't afford that nice boat to get out there and run around on the lake.
Well, I appreciate your comments and your feedback here. This is one that we've talked about in the past, is that I've fished, but I wouldn't call myself a fisherman. I don't know that anybody up here is a fisherman. And I would say that the fishermen are a group that we don't have adequate representation or knowledge of the needs and what we can do to improve. So we've had the Friends of Prairie Creek group has been very active in expressing their concerns and needs. We've heard things from the Sail Club. They've been an active group. And I'm blessed and happy to see that we've had 3-4 fishermen in here today talking about needs and requests that they've got.
So we need more
We
allocated.
don't know what we don't know, and this is all great information for us, and it's things that we can move forward. We're headed into our 5-year plan for the parks as a whole, and Prairie Creek is an area that we
We'll be conducting.
we didn't do enough work on in the last 5-year plan, and certainly something we can focus on this coming plan.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I will say a little more. I spent a couple years in the service. That's just part of it. I was a city police officer for several years. My last few years I worked for Muncie School, which I learned the political money exploitation of it. But, yeah, the reservoir, in my opinion, is for the public. And I, as a fisherman who supported that reservoir before there was any businesses out there, the reservoir functioned just fine. Yeah, there's more attractions for the city of Muncie, for Delaware County, for the reservoir. That's true. It's evidently getting to the point that it's being overdeveloped, which I pray never turns into another Cicero. But at the same time, everybody's concerns and wishes is all being addressed. But I could take anybody out there and give you a rod and reel until you walk down to the water and cast in water over 2 foot deep. And I'll pay you $100 every time you do it. It's that bad out there. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you where the Diamond Eye, the 2 places you could fish between the sailboat club and the bridge, they threw their brush down there. Well, that's fine. The city also went out there and cut a tree up that fell down. And instead of hauling it off or throwing it in a pile out of the way, they threw it in the only spot you could stand. So I think if somebody wants to honestly be truthful about it, they need to go out there and personally look. You go around the motorcycle area, can't fish here. Insurance, liability, dangers, off limits. The horse trails, I've walked them. I go out there every year and find the poached deer and the winter kills and stuff. It's just part of me. I'll walk the whole reservoir. All along that west side, you can't fish. If you get along like where the hill was, there used to be rocks you could get on and fish. It's been allowed to grow up. I don't know if it's legal ramblings, if green space we got to maintain. The bottom line, end of the day, the fishermen cannot access the water.
Okay.
You know, I can go out there and get my ticket. I can go out and get my license checked. I can go out and pay for the privilege, but I'm not able to do it. I hope I ain't rambled too much. I love Muncie Reservoir. Been part of my life forever.
Thank you.
I'd like to see it continue.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate it, Mr. King. It's people like you that are passionate and care about it is what makes the reservoir what it is. It's important to a lot of people. And I would say that the fishermen, like I said, are a group that we need to spend some focus on and understand the needs and the wants and how do we accommodate those within our abilities as the Parks Board, and then our agreements with, as you mentioned, both the water company and the DNR. It's a complex group there, but I appreciate your time and your thoughts. Anything else from the board?
No.
No?
Just one more quick suggestion. The reservoir used to be maintained quite a bit by the water company. Maybe just a suggestion. You know, it worked for them for many years. Maybe it's a good plan. Just suggestion.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr. King.
Appreciate you. Hopefully,
Any other public comment? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. So
Second.
move.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.